Hey everybody, this is Ken from Thrashcast. Before we get tonight's episode 65, I just wanted to bring this announcement to you all. YouTube is recently changing their algorithm, so the views are going to be changing now moving forward. So if you just watch one of our videos and don't like or subscribe, it won't count as a view. And we do appreciate all the love and support we get for our videos. So please, if you do watch a Thrashcast podcast episode, please, in the comments, leave us a comment, or if you can, please like the video. It will help our channel grow, and we do appreciate all the love and support we get. Now, on to tonight's episode. Welcome everybody to Thrashcast, episode 65. I hate to say this, but tonight's a bit of a downer episode. Well, I don't think we'll treat it as a downer, but it kind of is when everyone knows now that Ozzy Osbourne has passed away, and it sucks. It sucks. We're all fans. It was a shock when we all heard the news, and especially 2 weeks ago, he did a concert, and we are all happy that he had his final performance. And now the Prince of Darkness has left us. So a lot of people were, posting comments, a lot of memes online, a lot of news sources, especially like major news sources, and a lot of normies who don't listen to metal are basically, they're talking about Ozzy, which is weird. So we all know that Ozzy pretty much has transcended music, and he's actually a pop culture phenom or kind of an icon in many ways in all kinds of fields, like in movies, comic books, TV, action figures, like you name it. Beyond just the concerts and the festivals, the man is technically like an iconic legend, or as most people say, the godfather of heavy metal. So it's tough. It was a tough day for everyone to hear that Ozzy had passed away. So this is kind of a pivot episode. We're pivoting away from what we had planned to do and talk about what Billy was going to take us through Exodus and Bonded by Blood. So we decided, well, this is probably the better time to talk about Ozzy and what he meant to me, what he meant to Jim, what he meant to Billy, like Ozzy and Sabbath, of course. Like we wanted to talk about the two bands. We wanted to talk about the albums today, about what we liked about Sabbath, what we didn't like about Sabbath. We want to talk about Ozzy's time in Sabbath. We also want to talk about Ozzy and the solo projects and the solo career. So we thought it'd be a nice way to celebrate the man's career as one of the greatest, as the Prince of Darkness, as we all like to call him. So we're just going to talk about that. There's no new segments tonight. We're not even going to talk about what's spinning. We're just going to basically discuss Ozzy and the music, and we'll all have a chance to, share our thoughts, ideas, what we think of Ozzy, if we saw him live, what our favorite albums is, and all that jazz. So we're going to do that tonight. I'll just basically, before we start, just to say, you know where to find us. We're on YouTube. You can go to the website horrormetalsounds.com. You can go to you can go over to Rumble. You can definitely go over to Spotify. And apparently we're getting really good engagement on TikTok. We're putting our shorts videos there because due to some of the recent snafus with YouTube and how they're sort of changing the way that views are counted on short videos, Rich and I have got them actually migrating over to TikTok, and they're doing quite well. So we are getting good response there. So at least we know that the content is out there and people are seeing us. So we're going to start. I broke it up into two segments for tonight. So I thought we'd start with our Sabbath segment first. We'll get into that. And then we'll get into our second segment, which would be Ozzy and his solo career. And then we're going to end it off with all three of us giving our top five Ozzy songs and our top five Sabbath songs. So, and I know that's a hard one because I think I changed my my top five many times over the last day or two, just because I like that song. It's hard to pick. there are so many good Sabbath songs and so many good Ozzy songs, but you know, but yeah, it's a sad day. I have to tell you guys, when I first heard the news, I thought it was a hoax
Yeah.
because a buddy of mine, I work from home, so a buddy of mine sent me a message saying, "Yeah, Ozzy's dead." I'm like, "No, what are you talking about?" So I, like everyone, you go to Google it, and the first thing comes up, "No, Ozzy Osbourne is alive. It's a death hoax." Okay, that's what the co-pilot says. Scroll down beyond the co-pilot, you get to the actual news sources. NBC News. Okay, yeah, okay. I know this is real now because when a news source is when someone like NBC News is saying this, then yeah, you know the guy's passed away. So that sucked. I have to tell you, I for me it's like I actually broke down. I was like, what the hell? I was in shock. I couldn't believe that he passed. It was a shocker for me, just based, 2 weeks ago, he has a farewell concert, and it's like, okay, I'm done. That's it. Bye bye. So it just makes that concert so much more special now that we've all saw it and seen it, that Ozzy's passed. But I'll ask you guys, where were you at the time? So Jim, we'll start with you. Where were you when you heard the news?
Oh, well, yesterday, I mean, I think you texted me or texted me and Bill and just said, I think Ozzy passed away. And just as you did that, I got messages. I was getting messages. And I was like, what? And so then I went on and started seeing the same thing from the larger news carriers that, okay, this isn't a hoax. And then, I think the biggest thing for me is just I think over the past 2 weeks, I've been listening to a ton of Black Sabbath just
Mm-hmm.
from, watching the show. And I've been watching a lot of like, I really got to say, after, I like the Guns N' Roses cover of Junior's Eyes on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And, after seeing a lot of this, I was still like, I probably every day in the last 2 weeks, I've been listening to at least one Sabbath album and some of the Ozzy stuff. And just from a fact of there's been so much talk about it and getting it back in, whether I've been streaming it or I've been, used all my albums uh, that I've been listening to. Like yesterday, in the middle of all of this, I was going through a big Master of Reality kick, and like,
Cool.
and it's hilarious. Last week we did Metallica on our show, so I was past weekend I was really hitting Metallica hard, especially a lot of the early shows and stuff. But I've been listening to Sabbath like straight for the past couple of weeks, just because there's been so much talk about it, and I've just been
Mm-hmm.
on that kick big time. And it was really weird, kind of getting that. Just thinking, it's almost like I don't know, in the kind of a world without Ozzy is weird. It's like okay,
Surreal.
because I'm 54 years old. You guys are all the same age. He's been around before we were even alive. Like,
No.
when so the albums were coming out in 1970 before I was even born, and it was always there. It's always been there. It's different for Sabbath and Ozzy and Sabbath, because he's always been, whether he's been with Sabbath or he's been on his own the last 40 years or whatever, he's always been there. It's always been going on. So there's always been something going on, whether it's his reality show that was a success, all his solo albums, the live albums, the stuff going on with Sharon, just stuff like that. I think is and he's always sort of that solid figure in heavy metal that's always been there. So this morning, kind of waking up, it was just kind of weird. It's like just kind of a weird feeling of, I don't know, it's just kind of maybe not really sinking in yet. Like, and I'm sure that, over the next year or whatever, I'm sure the Aussie camp will be starting, what I'm kind of looking forward. Hopefully what'll happen is maybe some unreleased stuff will come forward, especially stuff with Randy. There's rumors of stuff and maybe some shows, and maybe they'll do beyond the soundboard type stuff a little bit more, either with Sabbath or probably mostly with Ozzy out of the Ozzy camp. But and I'm kind of looking forward to that. But it's just been kind of weird, and I think there'll be stuff like, I think the whole Ozzy camp with Sharon and then with the kids and the family and stuff, there's probably so much stuff there that long after we're gone, Ozzy's still going to be there's still going to be new stuff coming out and stuff like that coming out. So but it's just surprising, that's all, and just kind of. But I was really happy in the sense that there was so much like he touched so many other musicians, and like in all different genres, people are coming out and saying, "Hey, Ozzy, we're friends, we knew," and he was very much well liked amongst the music community, not just the metal community, which we know he captained, but across everything. And I love the fact that mainstream news picks this up in every market, and it was that big of a thing. Like I even had my staff at work texting me I'm on vacation. Jimmy, did you see Ozzy died? Like first thing I thought it was you, man. Like and stuff like that. It's like, oh, just everybody. I mean, everybody knows who he is. So
Yeah.
kind of a really good testament of what he did, what Sabbath has done, what he has done, and what he's preserved over his lengthy career. And I think that's pretty awesome stuff.
Oh, for sure, man. Absolutely. How about you, Billy?
Yeah, it's funny, right? I found out from like I know you guys were texting, but even before that, it was all the people who hate heavy metal in my life who sent me the notes. Like, hey, Ozzy, but like it goes back to like Jim alluded to it, and Ken, you were like, well, even mainstream media had it. But because he was a megastar to the
Yeah.
mainstream non-metal crowd because of the reality show. That's where
Sure.
everybody who told me knows him from. And those were pretty crazy episodes, right? They know he plays music. They're not interested in his music. But so naturally, oddly enough, other than you two guys, most of all my friends hate heavy metal. So yeah, but it's just odd that they're the ones who came forward. So I guess
Mhm.
it's a sign that he's liked by everybody, so that makes sense. Um, yeah, it was surprising, right? Like just given how well he performed, like just roughly 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks earlier, like his voice was better than I thought, and yeah, he was in a chair and he was strapped in, but you could literally see his legs moving. He wanted to get out of there. Like he didn't look like somebody who was going to die like 2 weeks later. So that's kind of the shock of it. And then I just my mind goes to, well, thank God he got that in, right? Like
Mhm.
if this
Yeah.
would have happened a week or two earlier, could you imagine him being on his deathbed and not being able to achieve like everything he wanted to, and that they had planned for the last 6 months to get that final show in, right? So I guess I'm happy. Like that's kind of where I go, right? He got that final farewell. I go back to the fact that he lived a life of like you know. Like everyone who's going to watch this video and the three of us put together didn't live a life as crazy and as eventful. And, yeah, there's ups and downs, but, he's, like he even said it even during his performance, the final performance, he's like thanking all the fans because, he was something to the effect of, well, we wouldn't have been able to live this like great lifestyle, right? So he was also fortunate enough to, to have to be very successful, and so I guess that's where my mind goes, right? Like he lived a great life, like
Mhm.
I mean, it's sad that he's gone, but like and the fact that he got that final show in, like it's kind of, I mean, I know obviously this isn't the case, but it kind of feels like he achieved everything he wanted to achieve. He got the show in, and so yeah, I don't know. Maybe he stopped. I don't know, taking some of the medication, or he was just so beat up and exhausted from the performance that it caught up with him and it spiraled after. But and I go back to the balls he had to do that, right? Like he's suffering with Parkinson's for like 2 years. He's been in pain. He's been pretty much in seats and
Mhm.
beds months. And to come out and do that, right? And we talked about it, and the number's been revised. The streaming was 5.8 million people. Uh,
5.8. Okay.
right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could have went really bad, this show, but like he had the guts to go out there and give it his all. So I'm also left with that image that kind of puts a smile on my face too. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's sad to
And
see it all happen, but I also feel like, he just had a chance to do so much in that last show. Like it makes me, in a weird way, a bit happy for him, that he was able to achieve so much and fulfill his last wish, which many people don't get a chance to do, right?
and you make a good point because $190 million raised for his disease and
Yeah.
children's hospitals. I mean, to do that as a final thing is pretty commendable. And from the Ozzy camp, I think that's pretty cool as a Sabbath camp. And I think that's really important. That's a great point, Billy.
Well, it's admirable, right? Like
Yeah.
like he's lived a whole life. What more can he take? Like the guy's lived a great life. He's a great musician. He'll always be remembered years from now. So why not give something back? And it's great that he actually recognizes that and gave what he had to back out to the world. So I'm good. I'm good with that. I mean, that last performance is, I'll remember it too, because when I was watching the solo part and Ozzy was singing "Mom, I'm Coming Home," like, yeah, it really hit hard that this is it. I'm done. And we didn't even realize that he was going to pass away like 2 weeks later. So it's even more profound now when you think about it, when you think about it in relation to that show. And then he died two weeks later. So I don't know, man. It's like, I was gutted. It was like, oh man, you guys kidding me? I mean, I was gutted when Lemmy passed it, or actually when Dio passed. I was pretty gutted because I was a huge Dio fan, and when he passed, I was like, oh man. And when Dio passed, I was vacationing in Long Island with my wife. We were visiting her family, and I get this. I'm looking on my phone. I'm like, Ronnie James Dio is dead. What? What do you mean he's dead? It's brutal. Like that's just it's a gut punch. This was a gut punch. Like for me, it was a gut punch. So I'm like, oh man, what if it's. I mean, Billy's right. I mean, we shouldn't really be crying about it. We should be celebrating his.
Yeah.
I lived a great life. He was a rock star of major proportions. Everyone knows his songs, or I think most people would know his songs. Or I would think at least everyone on this planet could name one Ozzy song. I'm pretty sure.
Well, what's interesting, Ken, is the fact that you say that, and like Crazy Train was in the Trolls movie. My daughter,
that's right.
She watched the Trolls movie, and Ozzy was actually, his voice was in it as the father of the troll. But it's neat that, like, it kind of, and then that was the theme for the Osbournes. And I think probably Crazy Train is probably the song that just like everybody, they may not even know it's Ozzy, but it's Ozzy. Exactly. Yeah.
Hockey arenas, everyone hears it there.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. So it's like, I guess he transcended like just the typical rock star persona into something like a cultural icon. I mean, I know Billy alluded to it earlier about the Osbournes. I mean, I watched a couple episodes with the Osbournes. I didn't really get into it, but I know a lot of people, and I've heard this from other people saying that they saw the Osbournes and thought Ozzy was just a celebrity on TV. They didn't even know he was an actual rock star or he was in part of Black Sabbath. No, but a lot of the normies didn't. So it's kind of funny that, I didn't even know what he sang. I just thought he was some guy and some rich dude in the UK, which is kind of funny. But
I think I watched
a lot of his like crazy antics, right? Like I think we're going to get into some of the crazy Ozzy stories later, so I won't get into that. But I mean, the stuff that you look back at Dio and Black Sabbath or Tony Martin, like nobody was getting the attention that Ozzy was, right? Like the famous one, obviously biting the head off the bat, which he didn't quite realize was a live bat, but all the shit that he got himself into, right? Like nobody got themselves into that much crazy craziness. So, yeah, like that just all added to his aura, and his legend kind of grows a lot out of that, good or bad.
That's
And
true.
I think he took like when he those stories are hilarious, and even on the Osbournes, like him acting up with the pets, it made him a little bit more, I think, more human, more
Yeah.
family
Yeah.
like. But I love in the one scene that just cracks me and my wife up because I watched all of it when it was
Okay.
on, and was the one where they threw the ham through the neighbor's window because they were feuding with the neighbor. I mean, these are
Okay.
millionaires, right? But it's just so like, yep, that's Ozzy.
Well, the one episode that I saw, which I thought was hilarious, was that his son Jack, as he was younger then, comes into the room and he's bitching about something that's going on in his life, and he's just telling his dad, "Well, this sucks," and then Ozzy, like Ozzy in this typical kind of little kind of weird, like he looked like he's half drunk or whatever, but he goes, Jack, I love you so much, son, but I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's like that's Ozzy, like
Oh yeah.
that's the man. So yeah, it's kind of funny. It's really really funny, but
And I think
yeah,
everybody loves, excuse me, an underdog story, right?
Mhm.
yeah,
Like yeah, that also just adds to like his legend status. Like the amount of times that Sharon got him sober again,
Yeah.
or like when was that when he had that accident on like the
it
quad
was
bike or
The
whatever it
ATV.
was, the
yeah,
ATV, right? And that didn't
2007
look
or
good.
yeah,
Right. And he
something.
always seemed to fight back, right? And we know like he had his battles with drugs and alcohol. He leaves the most popular metal band, Black Sabbath, but arguably his solo career becomes more successful. I mean,
But
it's just he's a man of comebacks, which everybody loves a comeback story. So it just adds to his status.
and you know what? You can say what you want about Sharon, and I've said a lot because but she I mean, you think about something like Speak of the Devil came out and they rushed to get that out super quick.
Yep.
As soon as he got out of Black Sabbath, as soon as he was fired or whatever, he got out and he wanted, bam, we're gonna hit this hard, hit the ground running with the live show type thing. And it's just like this is where good business sense takes over. And obviously, you know, and I hate to admit it sometimes because I'm not a fan of Sharon, but on the flip side, I mean, she essentially totally saved his career by getting him help and then managing him back then in a way to be, to go after this a little bit differently. And I think that just set the stage for his solo career to really take off.
Well, I think though, Sharon was galvanized because her dad Don
Yeah.
Arden hated Ozzy and said, "This guy's a loser. Get the fuck away from this dude. He's not going to get you anything in life." But the
Mhm.
irony is that she stuck by his side,
Yeah.
got him cleaned up, and got him back on stage. And then they found Randy Rhoads, and then
Well, the whole band.
that's true, yeah. But I
Oh
mean, like,
man, Lee Kerslake, like, oh
yeah,
man, drummer extraordinaire from Uriah Heep. You've got Daisley, you've got Don Airy, you've got and Randy
yeah,
Rhoads. Well, I mean,
Randy
the
Rhoads,
whole story there with Dana Strum from
that's right.
Slaughter, and
Yeah,
it was funny when I saw all the early stuff with Dana. I didn't realize Dana Strum was so instrumental back in the day with Ozzy, and I'm
mm-hmm.
talking even in the late '70s where
Mm-hmm.
because I always just thought he was the Slaughter guy, bass player for Slaughter or whatever. I think he was a bass player, and I mean, he was in Ozzy's band. He got, he essentially said, "You got to hear this guy. We got to get, you got to get this guy in the band, Randy Rhoads," and then set the kind of the whole meet and greet up to some degree. And I thought, like, wow, just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And Quiet Riot were nobody back then.
Yeah.
They were still like an up and coming band when he left, but you know, but at least we have two Ozzy albums that he's on that we can refer to and hear his music. You have any other thoughts you want to add, Billy, before we go into the talk about Sabbath? Or
No, that's good.
you're good? Okay, cool. All right, so we all realize the importance of Ozzy Osbourne. So we'll start with at least what I wanted to talk about was about we'll start with Sabbath because we all grew up as Sabbath fans. I mean, Sabbath was probably the first heavy metal band that I heard or I got into way back when. I had cassettes, I heard them on the radio, so it's important. So we'll start with what I wanted to sort of do is talk about when did you first hear about Sabbath? And what did you think about Ozzy as a vocalist? Because obviously he's very unique as a vocalist. So Billy, we'll start with you. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so I mean, when I think of like Ozzy's time in Black Sabbath, like the range of my age was unborn
Mhm.
to like 5 or 6, so like I'm 53. So yeah, so to be honest, it was I didn't really know it. Like I grew up in Montreal, and what did everyone in Montreal do? They after school every day they played ball hockey in the street, and no, Ozzy
Right.
didn't show up to play. That's not where I'm going. Uh, but like all the kids on the street, the older kids, the younger kids. So the older kids were all wearing Black Sabbath t-shirts. So like I quickly, they were probably one of the first metal bands before I started to listen to even hard rock that I knew all about them and the image and the t-shirt. And they would be talking about going to the concert the night before. And they lent me probably the first Black Sabbath album that I ever heard, which would have been Born Again in 1983. I know that's not Ozzy, but that's kind of where I sort of started coming in, and at that point I would
Right.
have been like 10 or 11 years old. Um, but immediately, like I like that, and then the older kids on the street, they're like, yeah, okay, well, there's two albums you kind of got to go after, Master of Reality and then Mob Rules.
Mhm.
So those
Yeah.
were I mean those were two of the early albums of Black Sabbath I picked up, and so that's really how I got into Ozzy and Black Sabbath. It was definitely late because I mean he was already out of the band, and Dio was already gone, I guess. Also, um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, in terms of his vocals, I mean, I thought he did well. Like I thought it fit well with the music. Like I never viewed Ozzy as, and this is no disrespect, like a super technical singer. Like he's not like Jeff Tate or Michael Kiske or any of those guys who do the soaring like high notes and the super power and staying in key. Uh, but I think what he did have is just like he had the ability to do this haunting vocal that worked well with like the dark riffs, and he was also incredibly good at adding melody, and that
Mhm.
got even like when
Mm-hmm.
he had full free reign in his solo career. I mean, that's what he was probably notorious for, is having the melody in his voice and getting a lot more into the ballads. But even if you look at Volume 4, like Changes,
Mhm.
it's just like a beautiful melodic song. So, yeah, he's very good there. Yeah, he just fit the band, he fit the music. He was a great showman, right? So, forget about the antics. You could tell he liked being on stage. Although I know, like towards the end, in the final album or two, the band was kind of at war with one another. But that kind of happens to some degree with most bands, I guess. So yeah, I always liked his vocals. I stayed. I probably prefer when I look at a body of work like today. I definitely listen to more Black Sabbath than I listen to
Sure.
Ozzy solo. No knock on the solo stuff. I just like that darker.
No.
The darker. I mean, I don't know if doomy's not the right word, but
Mhm.
like the darker riffs of like Black Sabbath and the heaviness and um so yeah, so that's how I kind of discovered him, and yeah, I always liked him as a vocalist. He may never be in my top three all-time best singers, where I might have Dio, for example, but he still
Mm-hmm.
what he didn't have in like raw talent, he made up with like raw emotion and effort. So I appreciate that.
But his energy on stage, I always
Mhm.
thought that he was
Yeah,
one of the very more energetic singers
yeah,
because
yeah,
he never stayed still. He was always all over the map, and I've
yeah.
seen enough concerts.
Yeah, that's what I
constantly
meant
trying.
by saying he's a great
Yeah,
showman, right? Like he's a
yeah,
great front man, right? That's what you want. Like obviously, like it would have been very different, like for people who were going to all these shows who were even a little bit older than us, to see Ozzy on stage versus like Tony Martin, who's more, or even Dio, who's more of a stay by the mic and just sings
yeah, yeah.
performer. It made the band very different, I guess.
True, true.
But
And okay, so Jim, I'm going to ask you the same question. What did you think of Ozzy? And when
Oh,
did you first hear Sabbath?
well, it was interesting. Very kind of similar age to both you guys, but I got Paranoid. I bought it on a cassette. I still have it from a friend's older brother who was buying selling his tapes for weed. So, I bought that for $2. I bought 74 Jailbreak ACDC, the EP, and I got the Ozzy, the one I was just talking about. What is it? The first album that was live there. Jeez. I
speak,
got that one. All Speak of the
speak,
Devil. I got
yeah.
Speak of the Devil, and I got Paranoid, and I got the ACDC one for like $6. So, anyways, it was great. And I remember I got it because obviously Iron Man, Paranoid, War Pigs, like, and then because War Pigs was huge, like it was always a staple song, in hanging around with my metal friends and stuff. But back then it was more, the focus was a little bit more on Ozzy solo stuff, especially with the first albums that came out, because Black Sabbath, when I was in junior high, was kind of considered older. I have the same similar story with Deep Purple when I think it was 1984 or 1985, I can't remember when it came out. When I was at a record store, and this kind of older guy who worked there told me to pick up Perfect Strangers, and I did. And all my friends were like, "Oh, what are you doing, Motley Crue?" And stuff like that. So I think it was that thought. But I mean, I got Paranoid for $2, and then well, as soon as I put it on, it was amazing. And from then on, anything Ozzy, like I would have gone back and bought his, like being younger, obviously like when Ozzy was in Sabbath, I was 8 years old or whatever, 5, so I wasn't into it then. But when I think the first album that I was, that I picked up on my own would have been Bark at the Moon. But I went,
Yeah,
I had already amassed Diary and Blizzard before that, just because they were kind of staples. But I got them from friends, older brothers and stuff. And it just blew me away. And I was a little bit more, probably, as Billy says now, obviously a much more, in my later years, probably in the 2000s and that, as I started to age a bit more, getting more into Black Sabbath more so than Ozzy's solo stuff. Not a knock, but when I was younger, it was all Ozzy, 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 Ozzy. I loved
yeah,
The Ultimate Sin, No Rest for the Wicked. These CDs, these tapes were just a mainstay. My wife, my then girlfriend, my now wife, was totally into it as well. So, but the Ozzy stuff just kind of went on and went on and went on, and it was, all the way to like No More Tears and Osmosis. And I think that's where it went for me. But that first time I saw Speak of the Devil, where he's kind of got the bloody chunks coming out of his
yeah,
mouth,
yeah, yeah.
that was the first thing I was like, okay, I'm getting this. And
You're
then it was
into it.
like, yeah, and I knew who ACDC was, so I picked that up. But the thing was, I was ACDC Back in Black. This was obviously a different singer, and it was just weird because, and then I got the Paranoid, and when I first saw the album cover for Paranoid, I was like, what the hell is this? It's terrible. And but I bought it just because everybody said, oh, you gotta listen to Iron Man and that on it, and War Pigs, and then I did. And I think War Pigs and Iron Man were on Speak of the Devil. I think he did live versions of them.
Yeah, he did. Yes,
So
yeah,
that kind of was my entrance to Sabbath. And then obviously, at that point, and it was probably the same thing with Dio even. Obviously I got into Dio solo stuff quicker because, when Dio's albums came out for Mob Rules and that, I was too young. So like I got, the first
of
album I
course.
got was Holy Diver, and, Last in Line and that. And then I obviously went back and got all that a few years later as I started to really discover more of that stuff. So, it kind of worked out the same way, like Billy had.
And it's funny, Jim,
Cool.
you said it too, as I did. Like, it's not too many albums or bands or albums we talk about where we're too young
Yeah,
to have experienced it fully, right? We're all going in like when it's almost over, really.
yeah. You think Metallica? We talked about Metallica last week, and we were all of the age to buy the first Metallica album, pretty much,
Yeah.
and we saw them from the incubus of the start of Metallica all the way through. I mean, this started in like 1970. I was not even born then. So,
I mean, by the time that came out, Kill 'Em All, you already had all the Ozzy
yeah,
Sabbath and what, probably the first two solo.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, I was born in '69, so I
Ah,
wouldn't, I
Oh,
wouldn't know anything about
you're
Sabbath.
older than us.
yeah,
I'm a little bit older, but I mean, but like you guys, though, to me, same thing. I was in the early '80s when I started listening to Sabbath. Like, Paranoid was the first album I bought on cassette,
yeah.
and this is like probably 1982, 1983. So I'm about 13 years old. But the reason why, for me, it was a bit different because I first heard War Pigs on the radio. And here in Toronto, Q107 was pretty much our major like rock station. And I used to listen to that station a lot when I was in my early teens. And they had a program on there called the Psychedelic Snack, which they did on every Friday, like I think it was every day at noon. And then on Sunday they did the psychedelic Sundays with Andy Frost. So Andy played a lot of Sabbath. So there was always I'd always hear War Pigs, you'd always hear Paranoid. And always it's weird. They wouldn't really play so much the first album, but it was always Paranoid that they played. And I guess for a lot of people that's their entry into Sabbath. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the first cassette I bought was Paranoid. And as I got older, you start going back to hear all the Sabbath albums. You go
Yeah.
back, you start buying them all, and you're like a giddy schoolboy. Oh, I gotta grab it! I gotta get this! I gotta get that! And that's how it was for me. And then I bought everything, and then you got into Sabbath. But I mean, I always liked Ozzy as a vocalist. Um, yeah, I mean, I agree with Billy. He's not like the most technically gifted vocalist, but that guy had a pretty good range. He could sing. He could be really shrill at times in some songs, but he was good with melody, and it worked. I've always liked Ozzy. Period. Like Sabbath, and then of course the solo stuff. But like you guys too, I've been going more back now into listening to Sabbath as opposed to the solo stuff, probably because in the '80s we all heard the solo stuff. That
Mm-hmm.
was the prime era for that kind of music. So,
But it's true. That was our era. So like everybody
yeah.
has their eras, kind of, and I think as much as it would have been cool to hear this for the first time. I think in the early '80s era, growing up the way we did, I mean, holy cow, you could go back, and it was like the golden age for us. I mean, and that's true about his solo stuff. But I kind of missed part of the question there. I think his melodies aren't copied. Very rarely do you hear a band like. I agree with Billy said, like, it's kind of the birth of heavy metal was definitely Black Sabbath. I remember seeing, I think it was Henry Rollins had an interview I was watching, and he said in the back of Rolling Stone magazine, there was an ad that said heavier than Led Zeppelin, and then everybody was like, "Ooh, what's this?" And I think it's really doomy, and I think it's the birth of doom as well. But I also like the fact that occasionally I'll hear a little glimmer of something that sounds like Ozzy, but it never is fully. And I think his melodies, he owns that, and I think that's like he's never really duplicated. Like a lot of singers can be duplicated, but and I think that's really commendable.
Yeah, nobody will ever be Ozzy. There'll never be another Ozzy
No,
Osbourne for sure. I don't think it'll never happen, which is kind of sad. But at least though, for us fans, we have the CDs, we have the DVDs, we have something that we can hold on to, like for as long as we need to.
yeah,
So the music will always live on. And streaming, if you go to Spotify, which I'm sure many people have been going to Spotify. I made a post today on Facebook because I was thinking of buying that McFarlane Toys movie Maniacs figure that they did of Ozzy it's from the Ordinary Man album, but I like the figure. So I was like, I didn't buy it when it came out because I was like, oh, I'll get it any old time. And then he dies, and now I'm thinking to myself, I bet you everyone's running out to get that
Oh
figure.
yeah.
Or like to get or find out either an album or like collectibles or T-shirts. I can see the sales go up and up and up over the next little while.
Well, it's funny because on the Almost Human podcast, Ralph was saying, a few of the guys that were on there were saying that like they've been, since the concert, they've been going to record shows throughout this, US and that, and people are there. The vendors are saying they're having a hard time keeping like original Black Sabbath stuff in stock since a lot of younger people are going out and sourcing it. So that's kind of cool.
Oh, that's great though. I like the fact that young people are going out and buying records and getting into Sabbath, the bands that we all grew up with, right?
Yeah.
Like growing up.
So it's interesting. There was a Yahoo report yesterday that talked about. So this is partly with Ozzy's death and partly with the final concert. But the Ozzy and Black Sabbath streaming increased 100%.
Oh yeah.
Like from it started picking up like crazy after the final show and right through to like yesterday after the death.
I can imagine.
So, but a lot of people online are asking, are they going to release a physical copy of this show, of that show? I hope they do. Like I would buy it. I just for posterity's sakes to have it in my collection. Like, oh yeah, this is the last Ozzy show. I'm sure it wouldn't be the whole 10 hours. Maybe it'll be a truncated version, so you get the two main shows and then highlights of other bands. I don't know. I'm not sure how they would do it. But I would like to see that. I mean, I would buy it if it came out. I'd have no problem getting a copy of it.
Same here. Said like, and Ken, I know we were talking about it offline before, but like we were watching the Sea of Tranquility podcast, and Chris Allo was giving an update. Like he had like a source, I thought, within the Sabbath camp who said, yeah, they are doing it, but it's only going to be like a 2 to 2.5 hour. From the 10 hours, they're narrowing it down to, so it's going to be all the Ozzy and Black Sabbath, and only a very select few artists that performed in the day will be on it.
No, that's fine. I'm good with that. I mean, really, at the end of the day, I didn't watch the entire 10 hours because to me, there are a lot of acts like I don't care about. I just want to see Ozzy and I just want to see Sabbath mostly. I was into like Anthrax and Slayer and Metallica, of course, because those thrash bands that we talk about on our show. But yeah, I mean,
that's a good point. That's a good point because even the last concert, think about what Ozzy, besides the money they did for the raised for charity.
Yeah.
I mean, holy shit. Think of every band that was on that bill. If you're talking just plain streaming numbers, their streaming numbers probably went up 100% because people are like, who's that drummer in that band there that looked like the guy from Sleep Token? That's the first thing I did. I went on and had to listen. I hated it, but I still listened to some of it and streamed through it. But I mean, like if somebody's not into, doesn't really know Mastodon. I mean, I think and Anthrax and that I want to hear more of their stuff. I think that just flying numbers from that alone for these bands to get their product in people's ears. I mean, even digitally, I think he even in his last show, in Black Sabbath's last show, because it's the two forces here, really just did so much for the heavy metal music right to the very end.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I guess, well, hopefully we will get that. I mean, I'm going to buy it for sure if it comes out.
Same with me.
Getting a copy of it. I need it for my collection.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be great. So so I wanted to also ask now, we'll pivot over to the next question, which I wanted to know. What is essentially your favorite Black Sabbath album? And then if you want, you can also mention what is your least favorite. Jim, we're going to go to you with this one. What do you think about
my favorite? You're asking me today. So my favorite is Master of Reality.
I figured that.
But I mean, Sabotage, oh my God, is an awesome album too. The thrill of it all on this album. I mean, on this one here, you've got Sweet Leaf, Into the Void, one of my favorite songs. I mean, Children of the Grave. This is just, as far as I'm concerned, today, this is my favorite. But I gotta be honest with you, I've been really digging this one here, Ozzy's last one, Never Say Die. And a lot of it's got to do with the cover versions. Like Johnny Blade was done by Metallica, and I was
Yep.
interested in it. And I know I'm going to catch some crap over this, but I don't care. I think that Guns N' Roses did a great job with Junior's Eyes, and I got to be honest with you, I'm glad they did, and I believe they did Never Say Die. I think they did, but or maybe it was Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. I think he did, but they did Junior's Eyes on that, and Ozzy's high singing on that. Really, I thought Axl Rose, even though he got a lot of criticism about his voice, I thought he did really good on that. And to be honest with you, I thought he did fairly good on the Black Sabbath content. I didn't like the Guns N' Roses content. I thought he butchered his own songs, but I'm digging this album. And I know it gets a lot of push in there that it's maybe not that great. But I just think it's really, really, really good. I think it's really come alive for me over the last. I mean, I know, like, I watched a lot of different podcasts, and some people really like it, some people don't like it. It was kind of sort of the end to some degree of what was going on. But for one that isn't my favorite, I'd probably say, even though I do like it a bit, Technical Ecstasy is probably not one of my favorites that I don't really go to a lot. It's a little bit. It's a little bit out there a bit. Rock and Roll Doctor's okay. There's some good stuff on it, but the rest, especially like the first grouping of albums, I mean, they're all masterpieces. Sabotage, Paranoid. I think I got Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath here. Oh yeah, one of my favorites. And all of them are awesome. The first grouping of albums, but probably Technical Ecstasy. I actually like Never Say Die better than that.
Yeah, that's the only song I like on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not one of my favorite albums either. But all right, Billy, let's get your take. What is your favorite Sabbath album, and what is your least favorite Sabbath album?
So my favorite is I know Jim said his favorite is Master of Reality for today. This has always been my favorite, hands down. Just the super heavy evil lifts, just all the album clicks with me, every song, and it's an album that I go back to easily the most. I mean, Sweet Leave, Children of the Grave, Lord of this World, After Forever, Solid. Like, it's a perfect album for me. As an FYI, probably my second favorite would be Volume 4. And that's the first where, like, you would see the Master of Reality and everything before it being more like heavier, and Volume 4 is the starting of the experimenting a little bit. So that's cool. That's always been a favorite of mine. In terms of least favorite, there's no doubt for me. It's definitely Never Say Die. I mean, there's a song or two I like on it, but like I tend to see most people in ranking have it last, but I also know there are a number of people who strongly love it too. So, which is typical, right? Yeah, not everyone feels the same way. But I mean, the band has in interviews been very clear. They were struggling, right?
Yeah.
They were not getting along. Like Ozzy just apparently wasn't even interested. Like, I just don't find most of the songs as inspiring as everything that kind of came before it. And to me, it doesn't even feel like a true Sabbath album. Like it's not like that heavier sound. And I don't know. I mean, I think the Never Say Die, the title track, is probably one that I like the most on that album. And I mean, as a side note, it's not Ozzy, but my least favorite album would be Forbidden, where we introduced a rap artist, and how we thought that was a good idea is beyond me. But
the new remix, the new one is really gives it some chops.
It's definitely heads and tails better, no doubt. But it still like doesn't fix, I guess, the songs I don't like anyways. But it definitely sounds a hell of a lot better, more energy, more exciting. You're right about that, Jim. So yeah,
Yeah.
those are my least and most favorite.
Okay, that's cool. Well, mine's never changed. It'll always be this album for me. And I know I've mentioned it before, but Sabbath Bloody Sabbath is my absolute favorite Sabbath album. I
Wicked
totally
album.
love this album for many, many reasons. And I know this is the start of where, yeah, you got it too, Jim. That's awesome. I know the album is like, it's less darker, it's much more melodic. It's philosophical at times with the lyrics. It's very bittersweet. I find I love it. The lyrics are there's a lot of lyrics about symbolism and transformation, which I like. And that album cover by Drew Struzan, oh, I love that cover. That
Yeah.
cover blows me away. And to think that this is the Drew Struzan who went on to do, the posters for Star Wars, Indiana Jones. That dude. I mean, who would have thought that he would be doing like Black Sabbath way back when? But I love it. And what I like about this too is on the inner sleeve you get the other it's hard to see there, but
Oh
you
yeah.
get the other image where there's like the rich I'm assuming it's like a rich dude, or it could be Aleister Crowley or someone who's like heavily into the occult and is on their deathbed. So I think that's kind of fascinating. But the whole album to me is built around
Great
like the title track, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, and
Oh.
that main riff, which opens the album. It's so great. And it just, to me, it sets the standard for the entire release in my mind.
Yep.
And then there's so many great songs on this album too. And I like the fact that they wanted to write songs that were much more personal, less evil, less going on about darkness and stuff around them. But they went for songs.
Killing yourself to live.
Yes, yeah, that's a really good song.
Wicked
Yeah, that's
song.
a great song because it's a whole critique about being a working man, and so I like the fact that the album sort of tries to touch upon their roots, going back to sort of touch upon because they're all working class kids,
Yeah,
with no money and they're all fairly poor. I mean, we all know that the famous story that Tony Iommi came to the studio without shoes. He was in his bare feet. He didn't have shoes. So I mean, like, I like the fact that there are a lot of songs on this album that do that, and it's a little on the progressive side, of course. So I know it goes maybe it's not like as heavy as how Billy would have preferred with the heavy doomy riffs. They're on the album. They're more sparse, but I just like the overall feel. I mean, that song "Fluff," which is like an instrumental song. It's like, would you expect Sabbath to even do a song like that? Probably not. But I like it because it's different. And all the songs are great. Like
a National Acrobat is like
National Acrobat. You're right. Spiral Architect is great too. It's a great ending. But I love the fact that it's a much more grounded album for Sabbath, and I just love it. It's one of those albums that I could play start to finish. And I actually did listen to it this week again. It's been a while since I've pulled it out, but I was like, oh, I know why I love this album so much. It just,
I think Paranoid, I just played the hell out of it so much that it just, like, I like going into the other parts of the catalog that is a little bit more darker and a little bit more off the beaten track,
But Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, like I love it too. That's my third favorite.
Oh yeah,
it's Master Volume 4, and then Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. Then I go back to Paranoid and Black Sabbath.
Yeah, you like Billy? Do you guys like Sabotage? Is a pretty good album. You guys like?
Yeah, no, that's great too. Yeah.
Sabotage is good. Yeah, I like it as well. I think with Paranoid, it's just overplayed. You've heard it so much.
Like, I think the first two albums are so like overplayed.
Yeah, you're right, Billy. You're right. You're right. I mean, you're right. But I just, for me, I've always, whenever I listen to Sabbath, this is the album I always come back to for whatever reason. It's just one of those albums that it just sticks with me. I just love the style of the songs. I love the way that Ozzy sings the songs on it. I mean, especially when you get to like Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, and he's like, "You bastard!" right at 2:24, and then the soul starts. Like, oh my god, I love that. It's just, it's so great. It's such a great album. But most of their albums are great. If I had one to, I guess I wouldn't like as much, it would probably be Technical Ecstasy. I'm not a fan of it. It's how do you even describe it? It's like, yes, I don't know. Like, are they trying to do yes? it's just so it's out there. It doesn't even sound Sabbathy to me, but you know, I mean, Never Say Die. Okay, the last album, I do agree with Billy that yeah, they were going through the motions. It was obviously that Ozzy was going through something, and he was withdrew with himself, and he just wasn't who he was, and we get it. And they fired him, so of course. But yeah, I think for me, Sabbath Play Sabbath will always be my favorite Sabbath album. So
So, question for you guys: what about the return of Ozzy and the final Ozzy Black Sabbath album,
13.
13? What do you guys think?
God is
13
Dead. It's a
is
good song.
yeah. 13 was a bit of disappointment for me. I was
Yeah.
really pumped when it came out. I was writing for another website at the time, and was blistering.com I was writing for. So they gave me the assignment to do the album. I was so pumped. I got it ahead of time before it came out, and I'm listening to it, and it's like, I wanted to like it, and I don't hate it, but I'll be honest with you, I don't have any need to go back to hear it again. It's in my collection, but I just there aren't many songs on it that draw me back to it. I don't know. I mean
I feel
I'd have to
exactly the same way. So I say
yeah.
ditto to what Ken said.
Yeah.
What do you think,
It's
Jim?
just yeah,
I
Jim.
couldn't. I have it. I didn't even bring it out with all my other Sabbath stuff. I was like, I'm just gonna leave that.
I should give it a try again, though. It's been
I
years.
really should, but I've got it. It was the same thing. I probably listened to it a half a dozen times. I should probably make an effort to really get into it, but it was a little disappointing for me. Anticlimactic, I guess you could say, in the sense that I expected more.
Well, it's very slow moving.
Yeah.
A lot of it's a very there's not a lot of life to the tracks. Like Ozzy sounds so okay, but it's just I don't know. It's lacking something. But
You think
That's
about
a
how
big
good,
step
like,
up from Forbidden,
what's
which
that?
was the previous, I think. No, I said it's
Forbidden, yeah.
still a big step up from Forbidden.
Oh yeah. I agree with you. It's a better album than Forbidden, but Forbidden isn't that great either. I mean,
No, well, that's my point. Yeah.
but
that's
it was also like when Dehumanizer came out, I thought that was a kick-ass album,
I
or
love
kind of.
I love the Humanizer.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a good album. Really heavy. It's one of the heavier Sabbath albums I've heard. I love that album. That like Computer God. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, it was a huge, and I even the cover's kind of funny. It's a weird kind of cover, but I love the cover. It's just, yeah,
But I was hoping for the Ozzy comeback to be kind of like that, like,
yeah,
oh wow, because Dio came back and we were like, I remember buying it. I got it on cassette and CD, and I was like, oh, this is a great album. It's almost like a new. I can't even remember when it came out. Really, I think it came out in '92, and I was like, oh my god, this is Black Sabbath in the '90s, but anyways, no, I thought it was a great album. I was hoping that 13 would be like that with the Ozzy kind of twist to it.
Was all the
Well, I mean, I
original
know
on 13? I can't remember.
what's that?
Original members, all original on 13?
No, Bill Ward didn't come
Bill
back.
Ward, no.
He wasn't. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I figured who was the drummer on that album? Do you remember, Jim?
I can't remember. I'm gonna check it out here. Just I can't totally remember.
It's been a while now since it came out.
Yeah,
it's been like more than 10 years.
it was Iommi Butler on Geezer on bass, Brad Willick. Willick, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that rings a bell now. Yeah. It's.
Oh, he was.
I mean, we're not.
He was the drummer of Rage Against the Machine.
That's right.
Right. Yeah, that's the guy from Rage Against the Machine. That's right. Yeah. I mean, we're not here to shit on the album. I mean, at the end of the day, we're trying to celebrate.
Well, I mean, even on Dehumanizer, it was what is it, Vinny Appice or how do you say his last name? Yeah, Appice. Yeah, he was on there. So like I think Ward finished. When did Ward finish? I think he finished on Never Say Die, maybe, or just. I know he had some issues with touring and that because he had some substance abuse, I think, issues as well. So
yeah, that's why he dropped out. Yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah, there's some great albums. I know some people like Dio more than Ozzy, but that's.
Yeah, I think it's two totally different things for me. I think I always talk about eras, so I even talk about the Tony Martin era. I don't try to compare them because they're all distinct eras for me, and I think you can't beat the first Black Sabbath albums. I think the first six, and then you've got Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules. I mean, holy cow! And then there is some great stuff Tony Martin put out. Gillan with Born Again. I love that album, and as much as I really want a remix or a redo, or like a remaster of it, I kind of like the way it is. But I mean, Zero the Hero is one of my favorite songs. So
That's a cool song.
yeah.
Totally agree with that. Cool. All right, so we'll move to our middle section, and now we'll talk about Ozzy and the solo career.
Oh.
So same thing here. We'll go to Billy this time. What's your first impressions? What did you think of Ozzy's first two albums, Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman? What'd you think, Billy?
Yeah, I mean, both albums are good. Of the two, I definitely like Diary of a Madman more.
Okay.
I just think like the band was connecting better. Like Randy was just like hitting another level. Again, it's scary to think where he would have been at if for that crash. I think the songwriter is stronger. Yeah, I mean, for me, Diary of a Madman and Bark at the Moon are my two favorite, and then you got Blizzard of Oz coming in. Like, I guess for me, I just found Blizzard of Oz more commercial. And when I sort of look at that in terms of what I loved about, Ozzy and Black Sabbath, it wasn't quite that commercial. And Diary of a Madman didn't feel as commercial. I mean, it has 9 songs, Blizzard of Oz. And I mean, I don't know, there's 3 or 4 that I probably could have did without. But obviously, Randy Rhoads was amazing on the album.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean that goes without saying. But yeah, I always preferred Diary over Blizzard, but that's just
Okay.
a personal taste thing. I just think the band was gelling more, and the songs were stronger, and just a little more rock versus. I just found Blizzard of Oz a little too, if that makes sense, but more commercial.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they record both albums back to back?
I have no idea, but to me, I don't think they. I think Diary has like a harder edge to it.
Right. I don't know. I thought I had read somewhere that they actually recorded both albums back to back. I could be wrong, but that's what I thought I heard.
But yeah, they're good. Yeah. I mean, even like Blizzard, there's still a lot of great tracks on it. But yeah, for me, I prefer Diary of a Madman myself.
Okay, fair enough. And Jim, what about you?
I get into a lot of heck over this because I always pick Blizzard of Oz.
Blizzard? Okay.
I love it. I mean, I love Diary of a Madman. It's my second favorite. I agree with what Billy says. It's probably a lot more organized and heavier, but I mean, I love the band for both these albums. A lot of top class musicianship. I mean, Randy Rhoads. I mean, wow. And again, I go back. Like, I love Lee Kerslake. I think he's just an amazing drummer. Don Airey. You've got Deep Purple, Uriah Heep. You've got Daisley, who I think wrote most of the.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, amazing. But I mean, I go to it. And not because of like Crazy Train. And I totally agree. Everybody, I've been watching all kinds of podcasts over the last few days, and everybody always picks Diary, and there's one guy who picks the first one. But I love Mr. Crowley, Goodbye to Romance. I love it. I think it's pretty good. Just really awesome. I Don't Know. It starts off, and that was the first song. I remember putting it on there and listening. Yeah. Wow. Crazy Train, has been overplayed like crazy. But I mean, Diary Over the Mountain. I mean, you're just going right into a heavier album. And, Flying High again. It would be points of points. And then obviously I go right into where I found Ozzy, and I go right into Bark at the Moon. I mean, that's when I kind of came into that. Video for Bark at the Moon is probably one of the best videos of all time. I think it's so cool and well produced and just well done. And it even has that like it stands up to today because it was done in such a way to make it look like it's kind of an older time. But I think it's just amazing. Every time I watch it, it brings a smile to my face. I love that song. So
It's
What's
funny.
funny
I
about
love Randy so much that
yeah,
I searched for those two Quiet Riot albums that he
yeah,
was on, and I remember I finally got them on vinyl. I had to get them sent here from Europe, uh, but I was so disappointed. Right, it's nothing like what it
yeah.
was here. I mean, this was like I don't know, like
Hmm.
like slow rock. Right, there were none of his like crazy like shredding solos. There was a little bit, but nothing like what was on these two albums. I was pretty disappointed.
And his solos on Diary is just, man, he was given even more ability to
Yeah,
wander around.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's why that's a big reason why I like Diary more.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just think he's really given the chance to shine.
yeah,
well, not only that, but I think for whatever reason, Blizzard of Oz, a lot of those songs got played on the radio, or you've heard them so much. At least with Diary, I mean, Flying High is a song I really like. I remember hearing that on Q107. They played it so much, but yeah, I think Diary is the better of the two albums as well. Um, Randy does get to shine on it, and he sounds great, and he
yeah.
sounds great, and I think he feels like he's more a part of the band as opposed to kind of maybe coming across like a hired gun on Blizzard. I don't know. It's just what I kind of
I
get.
mean, we'll be honest. He probably wasn't going to stay in the Ozzy Osbourne band. You know,
Who?
like
Randy?
he was. Sorry, Randy. Randy was
Yeah.
destined for something stratospherical. You know, eventually he
Well,
was.
I thought at one point when when these two albums come out that he was talking about doing a solo album. Wasn't there some? I'm
Yeah,
positive I read
he
that
would
he was
be
entertaining
the
the
number
idea.
one guy in demand after this for every band and he would want to do his. Oh yeah, I mean I know there was talks about him wanting to teach and stuff like that because he was very much into that. But I just I mean wow what he could have done. You know like it kind of hurts your head to think about it.
Well, again, and that's where it kind of leads into my next question about how did Ozzy fare, or how did he sort of evolve after Randy's death? And we all know he did. And then Bark at the Moon, I it's funny. I wanted to go back to that for a sec because yeah, and I'm going to bring this up because I think this is the start for me, anyways, where I sort of feel like he starts transcending into different genres. Like at the time when that album came out, you had The Halloween, which was released in the theaters. You had American Werewolf in London. So he puts this album up, Bark at the Moon, and he hires Greg Canham at the time, who was a pretty big effects artist, to turn him into a werewolf. It's so great. It was like smart, and the video was fantastic. And I totally love that video. And I remember like for me, I'm a teenager and I'm reading Fangoria magazine, and he's on the cover. Ozzy in werewolf makeup on the cover. So I know that for me, it's crossing over from my point of view, from being like a fan of horror and a fan of
Yeah.
metal. It crosses over at that point, and then you realize that Ozzy's now becoming something a lot larger. So what do you guys think of Ozzy after the passing of Randy Rhoads? Jim, go for it.
Well, I mean, I think Sharon, organized everything fairly well. They kept going, and in spite of the disaster, the terrible accident that happened. But I mean, and then getting Jakey Lee was pretty pivotal, and I think it was really I mean, in no way is Jakey Lee Randy Rhoads, but at least Ozzy's they've always had a good, I always feel he's always had a pretty good band with him. So that makes it a pretty big thing as well. And I mean, you go from this album, which is pretty heavy and pretty cool, and then you go into The Ultimate Sin, where this and then this, which I totally love, No Rest for the Wicked. Yep. But you see Ozzy on the cover, it kind of looks like Phyllis Diller's evil sister. I mean, this is when the 80s were really ramping up with a lot of the hair metal-y, and he kind of delved into that. I mean, off of this, Crazy Babies, Miracle Man, Breaking All the Rules, a wicked song, but it, Bloodbath in Paradise, some great tracks on it, and Ultimate Sin. I mean, I remember playing hockey, and we used to play this in our dressing room before games. Killer of Giants, great song on there. But I feel everybody went down sort of that kind of, and I'll say it, a little bit of a hair metal
Yeah,
rabbit hole. Although
yeah,
the
yeah.
music here was better than a lot of the hair metal crap that was going on. I'm talking a little bit more like Image, maybe kind of like
The big
Saxon.
hair, the big hair.
Saxon went through it. So did Judas Priest with Turbo, and then they kind of righted the ship a little bit after that, and then he did as well. But I mean, that was just the style of the times. And by then, Ozzy was a freight train. He was selling albums, selling shows, and he was just massive. I mean, putting on a great, running around, with the buckets of water, dousing everybody and stuff like that. It was pretty cool. And the videos for that, and the video for Shot in the Dark is wicked with the
Yeah, that's a
girl
great
on the
picture.
cover
Yeah,
who they pick up all their friends going to the show, and then she ends up channeling Ozzy in the music, and she turns into this kind of zombie, a really hot zombie, and then she
yeah,
ends up on the billboard, and that is pretty cool. I mean, I
yeah.
love it. That was, we're talking 14, 15, 13-year-old me just loving this stuff, and here I am 54 still loving it. I think it's great.
Cool.
And then as his career went on, I mean, I've got, the Black Rains and stuff like that, and
Yeah, yeah,
Dream. And
yeah.
do I ever return to them? No. His latest album, which I have, but I don't have it with me right now. I actually gave it. I think it came out 2 years ago. I gave it an honorable mention. It was quite surprising, although there was a lot of auto tune and stuff on it, and a
Yeah.
lot of guests and stuff.
There was tons. Yeah,
Patient. I liked it.
I
I
thought it
did
was
like
okay.
it. Yeah, I thought it was okay, and I have a hard time critiquing Ozzy because he's Ozzy, not just now because he's passed, but I always like when people are trashing him out, like for some of the Duddy albums he had, it's still Ozzy. He's Ozzy. He gets a
Yeah,
pass.
Ozzy gets a pass, dude. So, Billy, what about you? What do you think of the post Randy Rhoads career?
Yeah, I mean, I think Ozzy's always been known to team like an Aussie guitar duo team.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, I think the peak, like nobody ever clicked as much as Ozzy and Randy. But then again, Randy was going to be, had he lived, would have been speak the same way as Eddie Van Halen,
Yeah.
like in
Yeah,
the
that's
same
true.
sort of league, right? So, yeah, I mean, and so I like Jakey Lee. Um,
Me too.
and so Jakey, he had some good memorable solos, but I think Jakey Lee's not Jake is not responsible for the direction of Ozzy. Ozzy's
No.
responsible, right? Like, and so I like the first album with him. Ultimate Sin, I like too, but like Ultimate Sin definitely sort of went into the hair metal genre the most, if you will. But I still love the album. I think it's quite good. But like again, I never thought he clicked as well with Jakey Lee. Like I think he's more blues oriented, which is
Hmm.
why I always liked him better in Badlands.
Love Badlands.
I
Yeah,
think
Badlands is
that
great.
was he was so much
Yes.
more suited to that
Yep.
than he was hair metal. But again, he still did a great job. Like I'm not
Yep.
knocking it in any way,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like that's why I say I don't know that he was as good of a match as probably Randy was. And then I think probably the most underrated album, in my view, you get Zach steps in, and his first album's No Rest for the Wicked, which I
Mhm.
Love that album.
and I think that combo with Ozzy is probably the best guitar singer combo since the two Randy records. Um,
Yeah, this
and
album's awesome.
like that was in the yeah, exactly. Like that was in the
Love
peak of
that
hair
album.
metal. And
Mhm.
like I don't find that was his hair metal. Like I think that was more harder edged and wasn't so hair metal. It was a bit of a step away from what they did. Not all the songs, but like I think a number of them were getting a little heavier and harder with the introduction
They
of
were.
Zach.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool. Um, But yeah, then for me, like, No More Tears is a that's kind of the next sort of album, and that was very different. Like, I never really called that like a super guitar driven album. I mean, there's some decent guitar parts, but that was really the Ozzy show and the Ozzy vocals, and we talked about his melody, and obviously he's a superstar there in terms of his vocals on that record. And then for me, like I don't know, like, and this is no disrespect to Ozzy, but I think No More Tears is legitimately the last great album that Ozzy put out. All the rest of the stuff, there may have been one or two tracks, but I just don't think there was any consistency there, and he got
Sure.
away from the true like band theme, right? Like having like those great musicians, and towards the end, it was all guest musicians. Everything kind of sounded disjointed and putting pieces together and auto tune. Somebody mentioned it. The production so incredibly modern, like
Hmm.
the complete inverse of like the first three Ozzy solo albums. And I get it, like time's different, right? We're in the 2020s. Um, but yeah, so the first six Ozzy albums I think are great. I own them all. But then I kind of lose. He lost me after that.
Well, they did Scream, so he brings in Gus G. I was so excited. I thought, oh, God, Gus is going to be in this album. It's great. And then it's nothing. Yeah, Jim's got there. It's, I don't know. It was just, it left me cold. I was like, wait a minute, you bring in Gus G. He's a modern like guitar god. You bring him in to play, and
It was just
what
never
a
the same.
disappointment.
Like, yeah,
No, you're right. Yeah,
it just
he
never
just
was the same.
and he had one album, and I did read that Gus, he never slagged Ozzy, but he did kind of say that he was never let off the leash. He was never given an opportunity to show his skills and the riffs and stuff like that. So it's kind of a shame because I always thought it could have been better, but unfortunately it didn't.
Wow, like this
Um,
CD of mine, it's got so much dust on it because I haven't. This is the first time I've probably pulled it out in, I don't know, since I moved to my new house 8, 9 years ago.
yeah, same here, dude. I don't listen to it either.
But then you probably got a whole, I
Yep.
mean, we're old guys, right? Like a whole bunch of young generation people who came in with all the stuff that we don't like as much.
Yeah.
They love
Yep,
it, right? Like, and so you could bet that of the 5.8 million streaming and tuning in, a lot of those people came in during the Aussie albums we didn't like as much,
Hmm.
right? The next
it's true.
generation of young kids who grew up on that.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, yeah, for me, like the same. Like Ultimate Sin, I like that. Boris the Hello cover is amazing. I
Yeah.
always love that cover. No Rest for the Wicked is an album I really got
Oh,
into.
it's wicked. I love it.
Yeah, it was one of the. I mean, I love Randy. I mean, not Randy, but Zach. Zach's amazing on the album. I mean, technically, he's the last great guitarist that he really had up until his death.
And I think
But
Bloodbath in Paradise is such a
Bloodbath
good
in
song.
Paradise, yes, it's a
Yeah.
great song. Yeah, yeah. This a lot of great songs, and I love the title track. To
Yeah.
me, it's so great. I love it. It's so
Tattoo
great.
Dancer.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a great album. That album really, really stuck with me, and Ultimate Sin did too. I mean, yeah, there's some metal elements in it, but I don't know. I mean, there's
I mean,
for
even
me,
Ozzy had his hair like done up with hairspray for that
he
one.
Yeah.
did.
For
But
two
I
Yeah,
love
albums.
the,
yeah,
I like it. I like it a lot. So yeah.
yeah. No, you're right. He totally did. But at that time for me, Ozzy was becoming a big thing. Like he was in horror movies. He's in Trick or Treat. He's being cast against type by playing the preacher
Yeah.
in Trick or Treat, which is kind of funny. He's in what else was in? He was in so many things. Like he blew up. He basically blew up in the 80s. And I think that's what I remember mostly about what he was doing. I like No More Tears. I like Osmosis. I don't mind it. I like the Perry Mason song. I think that's great. No More Tears was a really good album for me. It has Mike Inez on bass from Alice in Chains, which is great. Um, and he's always had some good bassists too over the years. I mean, Robert Torello was with him for the longest time. it's great. I love that part of Ozzy's career. I mean, not so much anything after the 2000s. Of course, it all
Mhm.
kind of falls apart. But you know, I mean, you have to give the guy credit for continuing and moving on, even though he tried to change with the times. Um, I would say the last 3 or 4 albums were, yeah, they're meh at best. But his the apex of his career to me is those first, like Billy had said, the first 6 albums where it's just 80s galore. It's just great 80s metal. But it is what it is, right? Unfortunately.
I mean,
All right, so
I
yeah.
even picked up his Undercover album. I've
Oh
got
yeah,
everything.
yeah. I had that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not
I'm
a
just
fan of
missing.
it
I
though.
think I'm
Like
only missing one of his albums, and it wasn't the
which
Patient
one?
Number Nine I've got, but the one before that. I don't think I ever bought.
Ordinary Man.
Ordinary Man, I didn't buy.
Ordinary Man. Yeah, I bought it. I bought it because I was hung up on the whole. I liked the fact that Jason Momoa was in the video, and I was like, that's cool, And he was like supporting Ozzy. I like that song. There's a
And
couple of songs
I've
I
got Black Rain because I think I saw the
that's
tour I saw him on was on this. Yeah.
right,
So
right. Yeah, Black Rain is okay. I don't think it's. I like the cover. I don't think the album is all that bad. It's not
no,
super
it's
memorable, but
no, that's the
Steve,
thing.
there's some decent songs on it. But
But I
I
mean, you
mean,
got so many cool Aussie stuff. I mean, you
yeah,
got this. I
yeah,
still have
yeah.
my
I have
tattoos,
that.
and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
got like this wicked box set that I've got here, Prince of Darkness,
Oh, I have that
which
too.
is
Yeah, I have that.
four CDs. It's pretty cool, and like so many greatest hits albums. I mean, like I didn't even bring them all down. Like this
Oh,
one
I
that's
have that.
got
Yeah, yeah.
pretty cool stuff. So I mean, he marketing wise was always smart to put this stuff out because everybody would buy it.
Oh, absolutely. Ozzy was the one thing I'll say about Sharon. I mean, you can say what you want about her, but she was smart. She's not stupid. She knew how to manage his career and how to keep his image going and changing every decade. And he changed with every decade. I mean, yeah, it makes so much sense. You do the Osbournes, then you're like in a whole new stratosphere now because you're a television star. So why not? I mean, it makes sense. It makes as you get older in life and you slow down, you're not going to make great music as much as you used to. So you find other avenues to be creative. Obviously, he did that. So what a great career though. What
Oh
an
yeah.
incredible career that this man had. So all right, so we'll move on to our final segment before we close our podcast. And I asked you guys to give me your 5 top Sabbath songs and your 5 top Ozzy songs, solo Ozzy. And I know it's hard because, like Jim said, what's good today may not be tomorrow, but we'll go with it. And Billy, we'll start with you. Let's hear what you got for a list.
Okay, I'm just moving. I had up the live stuff next, so I guess we'll do that at the end.
Sure.
Wasn't that
Yeah,
one
we'll
of
do
your
that.
questions, the live shows,
Yeah.
or no?
Yeah.
And the
Okay. We can.
crazy moments.
Hang on. We'll do that. Let's stop for a sec. Let's do the live. And I know you've seen them, Billy. Go for it.
Uh, oh, so we're okay. So we're gonna do the.
Go back to that final question about the
Okay,
seeing Ozzy live.
so live stuff. I got to see Ozzy 7 times and Black Sabbath twice. So the first time I ever got to see Ozzy was '89, the No Rest for the Wicked tour at the old Montreal
Nice.
Forum. So that was pretty cool. With Black Sabbath, obviously very late. Yeah, I saw the 13 tour and then the End tour.
Okay.
Um, Probably my most favorable is seeing him as a headliner at Wacken Open Air in Germany in 2011. That's just most memorable for me because of the setting. That was my first ever Wacken, and so a lot of the shows I saw there are my most memorable. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, so always enjoyed them. The last time was I posted a clip on my YouTube on my Instagram page was in 2018 in New Jersey, which again he was still again Ozzy always gives his full effort. He may not move as fast as he used to, but full credit. Like, he clearly loves what he does, and he gives everything he has to the fans, as he did in that final show that we talked about earlier.
So what is your in your mind the craziest moment that Ozzy was known for? I mean, there's so many
Yeah,
that you
there's
have.
so many. Like, I just jotted this down because it ran again because everybody's looking up Aussie stuff, right? So
Yeah,
my
yeah.
whole feed is, but it was when Ozzy and Sharon got invited to the White House.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right, and so it was like George W. Bush invited him, and Ozzy got like totally drunk, and like right in the middle of like Bush is giving a speech, and Ozzy's like standing on the table, and like it's just like this is the at the White House. I mean, and then you actually have George Bush, who finally at one point quietly he's like, "This might have been a mistake bringing Ozzy." So that's
Yeah.
my favorite like Aussie story, and it just you stick them in like probably even the most like a place you have to be well behaved,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
typical Aussie, like he didn't care about that. So yeah, that was a good one.
That's a good story. I forgot about that story.
Yeah.
It's a good one. How about you, Jim?
Yeah, I saw the Ozzy once, twice, but on the same tour. He played two nights in Halifax in 2008. So they added a second show, but you kind of had to go to both shows because the
Yeah.
second show was actually longer by two extra songs,
Yes.
and they had a little bit of a different set list, so it was kind of neat. But the first
That's the
show
Rob
sold out
Zombie
so quick.
tour.
Yeah, they
Rob
both
Zombie was
sold
on
out.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah, they both sold out so quick that they added a second show. And I don't think the second show totally sold out, which was great because I was able to go to both. So that was pretty neat. And I mean, obviously, 2008, a lot later in his career. I never saw Black Sabbath, although they did come, I think, on the 13th tour, but I wasn't able to go that much later. I don't think I was even here at that point. I was somewhere else. But it would have been nice to see that. They've been to Black Sabbath, I think, has been to Halifax a couple of times.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
In the old days, obviously long before I could go to concerts and stuff, but they do have they were here quite a bit, but that's what I've got, and I'm glad I got to see him. And
Yeah.
the first night I think Sharon came out on stage and he sung like a song to her, and then he did some extra songs on the second night, which is pretty good. And I think the opening band was In This Moment. I think I didn't really watch them.
Well, Rob Zombie was the opening act.
Oh, maybe it wasn't Rob
The
Zombie. I don't know.
2008. I have a story to bring up about that, but the 2008 show was Rob Zombie and Ozzy
Yeah.
on that one.
Yeah. Okay.
I can never remember all the opening band.
No, me neither.
Oh, I remember it. I remember it because I like Zombie, but yeah.
I think the best story that you hear. I mean, I love that White House one, but I love the fact of all the stuff he did when he was on when he was on tour with Motley Crue.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
I mean, Nikki Sixx talks about it. And says like they had shirts made up called the No Fun Tour because Sharon wouldn't allow, Ozzy any drugs or any liquor, even though he seemed to find it whenever he could. And I mean, the snorting ants thing is just hilarious, and some of the stuff, dressing up as a woman and stuff like that on that tour, and but I guess in an interview I saw, like a written interview. He said that Nikki Sixx had said that he pretty much, and I know he did this to a number of bands because I watched a Henry Rollins one, and I think they opened the Rollins band or Black Flag. I can't remember which one opened for Ozzy a couple of shows in the U.S. And I guess he walks up to the opening bands, use all our stuff, do whatever you want. We don't care. Just make it loud. They don't have, I know it probably wasn't that way with Iron Maiden. With the story goes that, Sharon was throwing eggs at Iron Maiden with fans during an Ozfest. But I think in the earlier days, Ozzy he was happy to bring these young acts along and was very good to them and let them do whatever they wanted, which was kind of cool. I think that's pretty neat.
So that story, Jim, when Sharon wouldn't let Ozzy, when he was with, was she trying to stop Molly Crew as well?
Oh yeah, she kept telling, like she said to Nikki Sixx, like, you guys are sleeping with too many groupies, you're gonna get sick, and you guys they were just I mean, at that point, Motley Crue was going haywire. They were crazy or just as crazy.
Yeah.
So in the I don't know if you saw the Netflix movie, The Dirt.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, and they have where they're staying at the Holiday Inn, and Ozzy comes out wearing a dress, and he's naked underneath, and that's when he apparently snorts the ants off the ground. And Nikki Sixx does it, kind of, I guess, goes to do it, and he does it first or something. I mean, it was probably not 100% true on the Motley Crue side, but apparently, yeah, it happened with them. So, but Ozzy was Sharon wouldn't allow them to. Was trying to keep track of them, and he said like, we were so close to getting thrown off the tour time in and time again because they kept sneaking them stuff like booze and coke and stuff.
Right? You have those guys anywhere near them, like you're not gonna talk about the ultimate enablers.
Oh yeah. So she was just trying to keep and keep a handle on it, and same with the manager of Motley Crue at the time, just trying to keep them from enabling Ozzy more. And I think Ozzy probably was just as bad as they were, enabling them as well. So, but it's funny because even Zakk Wylde talks about after the concert there, he said, like, Sharon in the later days wouldn't allow any booze. There was no booze there. There was no nothing. And he would have his own, beer, and he would be like, Ozzy would ask, "Hey, Zakk, you got any beer?" And he said, "Yeah, I got beer in my bag. Meet me in the bathroom in 15 minutes. And he'd have to leave a couple in this. He said, I would roll one under the stall for him, and you could hear, "Don't, don't tell Sharon." Oh yeah. Just hilarious, eh?
I think Zakk is completely clean these days, right?
I think so, yeah.
He's 100% sober now.
Yeah. Because he had that issue with his what did he have? It wasn't a stroke, but he had the trouble with the vein, the blockage that went up his leg to his chest.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh.
Yeah, what's it called? Thrombosis? I think there's a certain name they call it, but yeah, the artery, the vessel traveled up into his chest, and then he had to be rushed into surgery to save his life. And apparently, if he didn't go at the time, he would have died. He would have died. But yeah, so I think he's pretty much living a clean living as a life as well. Crazy. Well, I'll be honest with you guys. I might have to throw in my card carrying heavy metal card because I didn't see Ozzy live. I wanted to, and I had tickets to see Ozzy at the 2008 Zombie and Ozzy concert, but had some family issues at the time, so I ended up not going to that show, and I regret it. I have friends who've gone to it, and I've had friends this week posting on Facebook their ticket stubs from the show, and I'm like, oh, why? But it's part of life. What can you do? It's unfortunate. But for me, the one thing I remember that I think was kind of funny was Ronnie the Dwarf during the Speak of the Devil tour. I think that's when he wanted to hang Ronnie on stage.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's just it's so sublime. I just found that whole thing sublime. Hang a midget. Let's just hang the midget. It's like pulling off an Alice Cooper, but doing it for Ozzy. But I always thought that was a fun story. I mean, the bat one's a famous one, of course.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, you're biting a bat's head, and I just thought it was a piece of rubber. Okay, sure.
And the dove. I mean, the dove is so cool.
The dove, yes.
I love when he was telling the story too. He's like, I didn't know what to do because I read his book, and he's like, I didn't know what to do, and I wanted to stand out, so I did it, and the whole room just mortified.
And then the other one was where he was peeing on the Alamo, right?
Oh yeah.
He was barred from Texas for years. He wasn't allowed back in.
Yeah, but he said at the time he didn't know that he was peeing on the Alamo. I
I
didn't
thought it
know
was
what
an old
And he
wall.
just thought it was like a like an old wall or
Well,
whatever.
that's what he said at the time. But I mean, come on, dude. You know it's the album. What's wrong with you?
And
But
I
could you
think that
imagine? Could you imagine artists doing any of this today? Oh my God.
No,
They'd be shut down in a second. Like we just it was so
he'd
funny
be
because we
canceled,
just
Jim.
what?
He'd be canceled.
Oh yeah, you'd be totally shot down. Like it's just so we read it in magazines and we were like, oh yeah. Like,
Yeah, you'd be canceled. You would never get to that kind of shit today. But he
no,
did, and that's like the legend of the guy, right? It just
yeah.
makes him so legendary that he did all this crazy shit over the years. But you know, oh well. All right, so let's get to the as we mentioned the last segment, to your top five picks for each, or top five songs for each band group. Billy, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll start with Black Sabbath. So probably my favorite Sabbath song is "Children of the Grave." I was really hoping they would play that at the final show. I know it was one of the seven they had nailed down had they got to seven, but
Yeah,
sadly they didn't. Number two would be "Supernaut" from Volume 4. Like I love that. I
good
mean, that
song.
album's my second favorite. It's like a killer drum track. And there's like a great story that when John Bonham of Zeppelin came to jam with the band, that's the one song he always wanted to play because it has some great like drum parts. So that's pretty cool. NIB from Black Sabbath is a great
Good one.
track. They did play that at the final show. War Pigs is always a song I loved, and just a strong, well-written song, anti-war track. And then I'm going back to Master of Reality for Sweet Leaf. Uh,
Mhm.
Ooh, good one.
so yeah, but I mean, you said at the beginning, Ken, like I mean, I think Ozzy's a little easier for me, but for the Sabbath was
Yeah, it
near.
was hard.
It's
Like I
hard.
gave up try towards the end, like I did like three, four lists, and I'm like, okay, I'm
Yeah,
just putting the five songs I love, and there's
it's
five
hard
songs
to.
I probably like equally as much.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's that. And then on the Aussie side, so Aussie, I did it a little differently because, like I said, to
Okay,
me, I think the six albums, the first six are the best. And so I wanted to pick one song, my favorite from each album, rather than have multiple from the same album. So
cool.
from Blizzard of Oz, my favorite is I Don't Know.
Okay,
Then number two, so from Diary of a Madman, Flying High Again.
good
Uh,
song.
then I'm going the title track from Bark at the Moon is my number three, and then
Good song.
Killer of Giants from the Ultimate Sin is in there, and then I got my last, which is six, coming from No Rest from the Wicked, is a Miracle Man.
Nice.
So I
Good
ended
song.
up with
I
six.
did 6-2 for Ozzy.
Okay.
Okay, cool. That's fine.
Oh, I
Go ahead,
forgot
Jim.
one though. No More Tears. I don't think I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, for No More Tears, I would do probably the title track. I really like it.
No more
Well, that's a
tears.
good song.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like Mama, I'm Coming Home, or
Yeah.
I Don't Want to Change the World is cool. But yeah, I really like the title track on that one.
Cool.
Okay, cool. Awesome. How about you, Jim?
Well, for Sabbath, this was hard. I mean, I'm going
Yeah.
through picks of. So right now, my favorite is Master of Reality. So right off the bat, I'm going with Into the Void. I love that song. I love covers by it. I just love it. My number two, Billy picked it, NIB. From the, I just absolutely love it. I mean, it's a great, great track. Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, or I could have gone with a National Acrobat, but I went with Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. Um, I love that title track is amazing. I have to have War Pigs in there because, like Bill said, it's. I mean, it's just immortalized, and it's it's when you think of Sabbath, that's the first thing that comes out. And then I'm going way off topic here. I'm going with from Never Say Die. I love the track Junior's Eyes, and I gotta be honest,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
loving
yeah.
that Guns N' Roses cover. It's like so good. I've watched it a million times. I'm probably the only one watching it, but I think he did a great job, and I love the original version of it. And I like that album. I think that album's really good, and I'm going to keep pushing the hell out of it. So, but
Cool.
I do get it. A lot of people, it's in their last of the Ozzy groupings for sure. For Ozzy, my favorite song of all time is Mr. Crowley. A little bit of a sellout there. I know it's one of the most popular, but I love that song. Absolutely love it. Number two, I love Suicide Solution. One of my favorite Ozzy songs as well. I just, oh man, the start of it, wine is fine, but whiskey's, I just love it. I mean, it blows, it's mind blowing. Number three, Over the Mountain. Man, that's a wicked, wicked song. I gotta go with Bark at the Moon. Like I think Billy went with Bark at the Moon too. I mean, I love that and the video. Oh man, I posted it the other day and last night, and I just love it. And I also love the video for that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shot in the Dark. I mean, I love that video as well. But Killer of Giants, I give you props on that one, Billy. That's a great, great track. And then for my number 6, because I went with Bloodbath in Paradise. Any song about Charles Manson, yeah. And I just think it's pretty cool. Although I could have Miracle Man, Crazy Babies is hilarious on that. I think he had a dog named Crazy Baby. And Tattooed Dancer is a great track on that. I mean, I love the whole album's great. And yeah, I probably would say No Rest for the Wicked is probably a stronger album than the Ultimate Sin. Definitely more like there's really no skippable songs on that album.
No,
but I like so Tired. I like Tired off of Bark of the Moon as well. But yeah, those are my favorite. I had to go with 6 Ozzy ones too, just because. Oh man, I could have gone 5 off of the first 2 albums.
I know it's hard. It's a hard thing. It's a hard task to do to pick.
And Sabbath, I did what Billy did. I made 3 or 4 lists, and then I was like, "Hey, you're thinking about this too much."
Yeah, I just
when you think of when I kind of put 13-year-old Jimmy. And now 54-year-old Jimmy, and I think the 54-year-old Jimmy beat one out, but I got more pigs on there from 13-year-old Jimmy. So, but I mean, that was a hard one as well too.
I guess we could have did all ties. 2 songs at 5, 2 at 4, 2 at 3, 2 at 2. That'd be a good cheat.
Yeah.
That's true. That's very true. Well, my Sabbath songs, War Pigs for me is number 1 because it's the first song I've ever heard from Sabbath, and it's always stuck with me. Number 2 to me is Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. That's one of my favorite all-time Sabbath songs. Love that song to death. Children of the Grave, another one of my favorite songs of Sabbath. That's so fucking heavy as hell. I love that song. And then I went with Snowblind. I like that song from Volume 4. It's good. I've always liked it. And then I added Never Say Die as the final one, which I like the song. It's the one song I like off that album. It's the best song on the album. Well, it's the only good song on the album.
Nice.
I like that song. Yeah, it's a good song. And then for Ozzy, Miracle Man is probably one of my favorite Ozzy songs. No Rest for the Wicked's one of my favorite albums. Bark at the Moon for obvious reasons for me because the horror connection. Love that. Mr. Crowley again because it's so iconic. Yeah, that's horror related. That's why I like it. And then the last 2, well, I like Perry Mason off Osmosis. I love that song. It's such a great riff in there. It's awesome. And then Mr. Tinker Train is my final song.
Don't you love on Mr. Crowley, like just the ominous organ sounds? Like it's just so it almost sounds church-like, to some degree.
Yeah.
Did you guys like the Jack Black version of Mr. Crowley?
Yeah, it was okay.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, those were all talented kids.
Oh, right? Totally.
The kids of superstars, right?
Yes.
I don't know. For some reason, I've always liked Jack Black's voice. Like, he's not like, obviously he's a comedian. He's not a singer, but I always get like a kick and enjoyment out of him doing metal stuff. Like that famous clip of him and James.
Right. So you like Tenacious D?
And that one, no, I don't like them enough for the albums, but
Right,
like
right,
I
right.
don't own any albums. But I just think some of the when he's with the stars and stuff doing it, like it's pretty cool. Like he did like one with like James, uh,
Yeah.
and he did the
Yes.
vocals for like the core. Like it was kind of fun. Like it was kind of cool. Like it looks like he was gonna like pass out because he wasn't breathing properly, but he's not a singer, so. But I
So
always find him kind of fun.
what was okay? I know we're just about done here, and this is but just curious, what did you guys think? Who had the best cover song in on the last show? Who did you guys really like the best cover track?
Oh, during the
Yeah, yeah,
back to
during the last concert, the
oh,
final
that's
show.
a that's a good question. I don't know.
I don't even
I
know
have
if
to
I
think.
can remember them all.
I know.
I,
I
I
gotta be
know.
honest. I
I
like
need a list
Tobias.
of them all.
I
Well,
like
what did you like, Jim?
Tobias's. I like Tobias's Bark at the
Oh,
Moon, even
Ghost. Yes,
though
yeah.
but I gotta say I like the. I thought Metallica did a few, but Metallica's always done some good Black
Sabbath.
Sabbath.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
and I thought, what did Anthrax do? Did they do Into the Void or
yeah.
Hold the Sky?
What did they do? They did one. Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Was it Into the Void?
I think it was Into the Void. I mean, they did a
Yeah,
really
yeah. It
good
was
job.
okay. It was all right. I wasn't. I didn't think it was super spectacular, but it was okay. I think I like the Slayer cover more so.
Yeah,
That was what
true.
I was gonna say, and I don't know if that was because it was partly stuck in between, like South of Heaven, right?
Yeah,
Made it even cooler.
But I liked how they did that though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
The way they snuck it in there without like being obvious. It's a Sabbath cover. I like that. I think that I would probably say Slayer for me.
cool.
I would think so. Okay, well, I guess like I said, it's even though it's kind of a sad day. Well, yesterday was, and I'm sure today's a bit of a surreal day because you wake up and it's like, oh, Ozzy's no longer here. Damn. But we have the music to like, to go back on. It'll always be here. That I think that's the positive thing is he's leaving a large body of work as a member of Sabbath and as a solo band. So hey, it is what it is.
I gotta admit, it's fun
Yeah.
talking to you two guys about it. It kind of we laugh and we joke about it and stuff because there's I like Ozzy had said long ago. I don't want people to cry at my funeral. I want them to have a drink and laugh and think
Yeah,
of all
yeah.
the good times.
I'm sure. I mean, even Lemmy probably has had said the same thing when he passed away.
Oh yeah,
Don't cry for me, man. Just go play the music,
yeah.
drink the beers, play the music.
Did,
Yeah, I mean,
I don't, oh,
was
sorry.
that Billy?
No, I
Right?
was gonna say I don't think you remember like Ozzy had a bit of a not Ozzy, I mean Lemmy had like a bit of a like you could go to like I don't know, funeral was the word, but it had his boots and
Yeah,
on the stage, and it was I don't know, what do you call it? Like people can come and pay their final respects.
like a kind of a wake type thing.
Yeah, type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably too soon for Ozzy, but I don't know if he'll have something for the broader fan
Well,
group.
the thing about Lemmy though is like his death is total metal. The guy finds out he has cancer and says fuck it, and he's just hanging out at a bar, playing pinball, and then dies right there. Like,
And he
oh,
gave out
oh
vials, to some of his closest friends, vials
yeah,
of his own blood, like to
yeah.
Doro and that, which I think is badass.
That's what I'm saying. How metal is that?
Yeah,
That's metal, man. What a way to go out. You know you're gonna die, but fuck it. I'm just gonna sit at the
yeah.
bar, drink, play pinball, and then you pass out and you're dead.
He probably was still wearing those cutoff shorts that rode a bit too high. I was always like, oh man, Lemmy, change those.
I bet you. I bet you.
I was thinking today, like I'm off to
Wacken.
Vakken at the end of the week, whether they'll switch gears and somehow do like a tribute show
Oh,
to.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, I would
It's
like to
kind of
think so.
late, like from them in planning, but they did like major thing for Lemmy.
Mm-hmm.
They could do it for Ozzy. I don't see why not. I mean, now the talk for Ozzy is what are they going to do now? Is there going to be any kind of tribute shows down the road? What's the funeral going to be? Is it going to be a closed kind of family only thing? Or are they going to open up to the public?
I think for me, well, I mean, I know we don't want to keep this going, but for me, I think the end of the Sabbath show, was great closure. And I think
Yeah.
now it's just like let the family have their time. I am sure that soon, in the next year, you're going to start seeing some box sets or something coming out, and I'm kind of looking forward to some stuff just to kind of keep it going. Being a metalhead and myself with my own personality, not necessarily in business, but as a metalhead, I don't like change that much, as for my metal. So,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of metalheads sort of fall into that group with metal, and we kind of want to just keep things going forever.
I hear you.
I wonder, going back to like a couple podcasts ago, those people who bought the Aussie DNA water bottles.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I guess that's a bit of a prized possession now.
Yeah. Here we were laughing at it. I was.
That might go up in value. Who knows?
Oh yeah, I don't know, but
Sell it on eBay. Sell it. Who the hell knows? That's funny. That's a good point.
Yeah.
About that. As silly as that was, I mean, you never know. People could metalheads spend their money on interesting things. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I want to thank you both for coming on to talk about this. I know it's a little bit hard. It was hard for me yesterday. I didn't know how to process it, so it was a bit rough. But I'm glad we got together to talk about it, and
absolutely. And I think joking about it, that I just woke up today just feeling weird, and it's not like a family member who I lost or even somebody I even met, but just I don't know, just weird.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, Jim. I'm sort of on that side of the fence as well.
But talking with you guys was a lot of fun, so it was nice to get together and throw this together. So
yeah, I'm glad we did this because it's like we all grew up with Ozzy, we all grew up with Sabbath, we're all Sabbath fans. So I mean, it's it's sad, but it's just the way things are, right? So, Billy, I know we're going to be off next week since you'll be gallivanting around and walking. But did you want to announce what you want to be doing on episode 66?
Yeah, I guess, did we announce it already?
Yes,
we probably did.
Last week.
Yeah. So Exodus, bonded by blood.
Yeah. And I'm sure you'll have a great synopsis of what you've been up to in Wacken.
Oh yeah. Your news section will be good next time.
Yeah.
We'll get the full report.
That's right.
Even though I know you don't like half the bands that are playing there.
Yeah, it's an interesting lineup this year.
Victory's going to be there, though. That'll be cool. I mean, Forbidden. I still want to see. I would like to see Guns N' Roses again. I know everybody's probably sitting there going, "What is with this guy?" But I kind of, I don't know.
I mean, I'll stop by. I'm not staying the whole 90 minutes, but
yeah, of course.
Well, Axel will be late anyways, so he'll show up late.
Not at a German.
Not at Wacken.
Well, he won't be late. They'll have him ready.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be getting your texts during the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we'll hear firsthand how good it is.
The text increase as I have more beer on certain days.
Probably. You have to drown out your sorrows with some of those bands.
You see Lita Ford the first day. That'll be cool.
The what?
Yeah.
Lita Ford the first day.
Yeah, but she's on the main stage.
Yeah,
is that a main stage performance?
No, I like her.
They have 5 levels of stages, right?
Yeah, I know. First day though.
I don't know. Don't get me started on Lita Ford. I have nothing good to say about her.
No.
I'm
gonna stop by, listen to a couple of songs, but I don't know. So you don't like her song with Ozzy?
I like it.
No, I like the song, but I guess I had an opportunity to interview her a few years back. It was several years back, and she was like a complete bitch in the interview.
Really?
Didn't care to be there. Every question was, it was just awful. It was painful. It was painful. I just wanted it to end because it was so bad.
It's funny you say that because she's basically a nobody now.
Yeah.
When I interviewed Doro, the nicest person ever.
She's awesome.
And she's been going for ever. And obviously Lita Ford's been dead. Not dead, but has done nothing of any value for decades.
No, that interview was garbage.
That's just that's
Well, that's too bad.
representative, I would say, of her. If that's the way she acted, that's probably why she got nowhere career wise.
I bet you.
Yeah.
Is Doro going to be at Wacken? She usually shows that.
No, well, I think she will for sure, actually, because Dirk Snyder's doing like what is he doing? Is he
Isn't
doing?
it Dirk Schneider and the gang? The old gang?
Yeah, but I thought he was doing, yeah, like for some reason I thought he was doing an Accept album, but I could be wrong. But whenever he's on, like he's gonna bring out Claws
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
Scorpions, he'll bring out Michael Kiske,
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
all the German singers, right? Doro will be there guaranteed.
Well, they do a duet
Yes.
together.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Tobias will be there from Avantasia. Like all those people who live in Germany, they purposely find ways to stick them into shows as like guest stars. So
Is Avantasia's playing at Wacken too, aren't they?
not this year.
Ah, damn it. Okay. I
They
love
were like
Avantasia.
they played maybe I think last year or the year before. I think last year.
Okay.
Yeah, they play every 2 years, 2 or 3 years.
What's his name? Tobias Salmon. He's a great
I mean, yeah,
front
Tobias
man.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys, we're going to sign off now for tonight. This episode will get posted on Friday, and then we're going to be off for a week while Billy's doing his thing. And then we'll be back in 2 weeks. So I think that's August 4th or August 2nd, I think it is. Beginning
August
of
already.
August 4th is the Monday.
So that would be
Like I come back
August,
on the 4th.
6.
right. You come
So
back.
you would then post on the Friday again.
Right. The Friday. Yeah.
So 4, 5, 6, 7, what, 8th or 9th, I guess you would post.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like first full week of August. We'll be back with Bonded by Blood.
And
All right, guys. Thanks again. Appreciate it. I'm glad we got a chance to talk. Have a good night.
Good night.